Good evening, all. Council, staff, welcome. Welcome to tonight's regular meeting of council, Tuesday, July 22nd. It's to be held and transmitted electronically via the council chambers, which are located here at 39 South Shore Road, Lake Cowichan, BC. First of all, I would like to acknowledge that the town and ourselves conduct our business alongside our neighbors, the Subasset First Nation, with thanks. Without any introduction of late items, look to staff, I see none. Council, would you like to accommodate public relations item instead of the mayor's report, perhaps on? Yes. So we'll just do public relations instead of the mayor's report. I only do a quarterly mayor's report, but there are some items that have occurred in the past that certain councillors may want to report on. So with that, I'll be looking for approval of the agenda as amended, moved by Councillor Austin, seconded by Councillor Sandhu. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. We have time for public input. This is a time for anyone in the audience to come up to the podium, state your name, and what topic you wish to have public input on, and you are afforded 3 minutes should you so desire. I see a no. With that, we have adoption of minutes. We have 3 sets of minutes. We'll start with the minutes of the annual general meeting held on June 24th, 2025. Looking at those, are there errors or omissions? Mover, Councillor Bomaka, seconder, Councillor Sandhu. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed, if any? That carries, thank you. We have minutes of the regular meeting of council held on June 24th, 2025. Again, any errors or omissions that were noted? Looking for a mover? Councillor Austin, seconder. Councillor Sandhu. I need peripheral vision here. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Also, minutes of the special meeting, as noted, it may not have worked on your hyperlink. It was emailed to you just previous to the meeting. Those were on some development permits. Moved by Councillor Sandhu, seconded by Councillor Bomaka. Any discussion on those? All in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. Any business arising from those minutes, staff? I see nothing. Everything good? Thank you. No delegations or representations. We have correspondence. The first one, we all received a letter from Miss Trania regarding 74 and 78 South Shore Road. So noted, all have read that information. This would be just for information, I think. I believe it has. Do you have a question? Councillor Sandhu.
Just regarding the 2-hour street parking, we do notice that there are regular vehicles that are on South Shore Road all day. So I'm just wondering, since this has been brought forward from a member of the community, that we address it.
Thank you, Councillor Sandhu. I can confirm that our bylaw officer is taking a look at this with myself. I know that the necessary training is in place to issue bylaw infraction tickets. There is a bit of work that we would need to do internally to set up the infrastructure for collecting fees, making sure that delinquent ticket holders are actually held accountable and what those next steps can look like. Which would also include an appeals process that we would need to have in place. So we're doing a little bit of research at the moment, and we should have a report for council in the near future on that.
That suffice. Also, with the parking study that was recently afforded to us, it did mention the opportunity for pay parking in the future, just looking at capital assets that would be needed for that. So along with that complaint, would be the moving forward with some of the recommendations in that parking study. Councillor Vomaca.
Thank you. Would it be appropriate to send a letter to Nassim to let her know that we have done a parking study and that we're aware of the situation?
For sure, we will be following up with the member of the public. We wanted to bring it to council's attention first.
Thank you very much. Anything further? Looking at the next one, those are just for information or consent. Does anyone want to discuss any of those? We'll just accept those. We have reports next. Council and committee reports. Unfortunately, I missed the opportunity to state that Councillor Frisbee is absent tonight as he is returning from our sister city in Otaki, Japan, as the lead of the delegation. He's sitting in the airport, probably streaming as we speak, so we can all wave and say hello to Councillor Frisbee and wish him safe travels on his return. Seeing as he is the chair, I am the vice chair, but I would like to turn to one of my colleagues if you could read the recommendations, please.
Please let me
Councillor Sandhu, you've been voluntold.
voluntold. I like that. Thank you. There was a motion that the committee recommend that the town of Lake Cowichan provide a letter of support to the Cowichan Lake Elder Care Society on its proposed new seniors facility in Lake Cowichan to assist with their funding application to meet the needs for affordable and independent housing in the community. That the committee recommend approval of the Lake Cowichan Fire Department's incident report in the amount of $9,213.80 for June 2025. That the committee recommend that the town of Lake Cowichan proceed with an in-house review of council remuneration to be placed in for the next council coming in for November 2026. Do we do the in-camera? Okay. And that's all the
So you move those recommendations. Do I have a seconder on those? Seconded by Councillor Vomaca. Discussion? Councillor Austin?
Just one correction under delegations. Elijah from Fire Smart was unavailable, so that should show in there that it was canceled at that time. I think she's coming in September.
That is so noted and will be rectified. With that correction, all in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next, Cowichan Lake Recreation. Anything there, Councillor Sandhu?
Our next meeting is this Monday at Missachi Lake Fire Hall.
You're doing the tour of different facilities in the West Cowichan area, I take it?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Vancouver Island Regional Library. Anything, Councillor Vomaca?
No meeting scheduled at this time. Our librarian has noted that there's a huge number of registrations for the summer reading club, and that library users from Souk were a little dismayed at our library because it had way better prizes for the youth and the readers than what theirs did in Souk. So that is encouraging for our young readers.
No comment. Advisory Planning Commission, Councillor Sandhu.
Thank you. We held our meeting on June 26, 2025, and there were some recommendations. That the Advisory Planning Commission recommends to Council that the delegation of authority be given to staff to approve all development permit applications with the necessary amendments to the town's bylaw and procedures. That the Advisory Planning Commission recommends to Council that the delegation of authority be given to staff to approve minor development variance permit applications with the necessary amendments to the town's bylaw and procedures. That the Commission requested that these amending bylaws be forwarded for its review prior to its ratification by Council. And the Commission members discussed the matter of R3 setbacks as follows. If further from the road more than 7.5 meters, that would be okay. Allow for the option to use old setbacks, and request that amending bylaw be forwarded to the Commission for its review prior to being presented to Council. And one more, that the Advisory Planning Commission would like to request council include the commission members on future workshops and meetings to discuss the matter of short-term rentals.
Very good. Those are just recommendations for me reading. Appreciate that. Any questions on the APC minutes? Seeing none. Thank you to the APC for all your work that you do for us. We really appreciate it.
I have one more comment.
And Councillor Sandu, if you will.
So our meeting this Thursday's been canceled, so our next meeting will be September.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I have nothing to report on the Cowichan Community Forest Cooperative. Summer hiatus for that group as well. But I do have something to report on the Cowichan Valley Regional District. There will be a meeting tomorrow, Committee of the Whole and Board tomorrow as well, so I will be there all day tomorrow. From Committee of the Whole, we received an update on the Young Agrarians and the land matching program that resides under the Economic Development Division, matching young farmers to established farmers in lands that they own. Also, there was discussion on the Emergency Management Regional Bylaw, seeking endorsement from municipal councils and the participating electoral area directors. That the CBRD enter into a 3-year agreement with the Malahat First Nation for emergency management services. And we had a stage 2 update on the Regional Parks and Trails Master Plan. As you may recall, back in 2013, I believe it was, there was a referendum on regional park acquisition. And this is an update on that master plan. There's considerable participation from members of the community, giving the input to the board for future discussion and decisions. From that board meeting of the same day, presentation of the 2025-2026 transit and CBRD agreements was presented. There were numerous electoral area bylaw updates regarding short-term rentals. And then their Special Governments Committee. There was a policy discussed on same-day recommendations coming from committee to the board. That has not been finalized yet, but considering that there should be some scrutiny and have the public allowed to look at those recommendations prior to endorsement, it was discussed on whether or not same-day recommendation policies would come from Committee of the Whole to the board on the same day of a meeting. There was direction of staff to investigate options for board and standing committee meetings, to include the option for evening meetings. This was a long and interesting discussion showing the options for those who do have full-time employment to run for elected office. It's difficult when all the meetings are in the daytime with daycare, with taking time off for meetings, etc. So the discussion was whether or not we could have a 4-week cycle for meetings or alternate day and evening meetings. So we'll see what comes from that. There was also discussion on the remuneration review report from HR. That's for the board coming in after the 2026 election. There has been no decision on that. Considerable discussion on the merits of remuneration review. And again, given the age of some of the people who sit around these tables, I think it's important that we afford suitable remuneration for people who wish to represent their communities. Currently, I believe with the amount of time that we put in, that we are below minimum wage in some aspects, considering the downloading and the other committees that we sit on besides council. It is a long-standing need for diverse representation. So that will be an interesting discussion coming forward. And with that, that is absolutely. Questions, comments? I was not saying you were long in the tooth, just to clarify. So don't do a code of conduct.
You're interrupting me. Lost my train of thought. Your governance committee, I watched that with fascination of the great discussion around the table, bylaws, procedures, different things. And I think, honestly, it is a great committee that I'd like to see our council talk about in the fall of our final year with this council. Because I think a lot of work could be debated and move forward with this sort of committee.
Appreciate that. And in one-on-one discussions with myself and the CAO, we have looked at different policies that need updating, and those will be coming forward. And perhaps one of those could be a governance workshop. We can also discuss that when we return in September, whether that would be something that everybody would be amicable to. Thank you very much for that clarification and question. Moving forward, Cowichan, our community outreach team. Councillor Austin?
Thank you. There's no meeting until September.
Thank you. I have nothing for our Cowichan. Cowichan Watershed Board, Councillor Sandhu.
Thank you. Last Friday, we held our Cowichan Watershed Board office warming open house, and it was well received. Our next meeting is this coming Monday, and it's at Bright Angel Park, and it's just basically a day of the committee members bringing their family to a picnic and just celebrating the watershed.
Thank you for that. Any questions to Councillor Sandhu on those? See none. Councillor Frisbee is supposed to give a report on Otaki twinning. Are you on the air, Councillor Frisbee? As I said, Councillor Frisbee is returning from the head of the delegation for our sister city in Otaki, Date City. They've had a busy time there, visiting the schools. Date afforded them a banquet where they were exchanges of gifts. We will see what is afforded to us on his return on behalf of Otaki Date City. Also, the local junior A hockey team, the Lake Cowichan Kraken, offered a jersey with Otaki's name on the back to be presented. That was given to one of the adult delegates and was presented at the same time. So that will be hanging in the Otaki office. Looking forward to their return trip, where we will respond with the hospitality that they have shown us when we have visited in the past. So I look forward to implementing that Otaki Organization Committee early and get things organized for their arrival and visit. And we will move forward from there on the planning and process of welcoming them to the community. Councillor Austin.
Yeah, we have our 2026 group ready to go after these folks come home. We're ready to start saving money, and the 2027 is the year that the Otaki people will be coming here. So I did tell them it would be nice if they were homestays, and they all seem to be in agreement that that is the right thing to do. So hopefully that will be good.
I think after their visit there, they will be more than pleased to welcome one back into their home for a homestay. If you have not gone and you have the opportunity, please do so. You are treated with dignity and respect in a culture that is significantly different than ours. But embracing that difference, I think, is important, just to note the differences in the world. Otaki is on the big island of Hokkaido and is a similar look to Lake Cowichan with mountains, but they have hot springs and bamboo. So if you ever get the chance, please put your name forward and consider going on our sister city trip. Moving forward, staff reports. Miss Reynolds, number 1, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So the first application is for a property at 112 Elk Road. This is for a development permit for to permit construction of a 3-unit, 2-story building. that's affected by the watercourse development permit area number 1, greenhouse gas reduction DPA number 3, and multi-unit and intensive residential development permit area number 5. The last two apply because it's 3 or more units. So this is a property, this parcel was recently created by subdivision, and so this is the first of a number of developments that we'll see in this area. The applicant has provided various reports and design drawings in support of their application. The Streamside Protection and Enhancement Area will have a Section 219 covenant registered over it. As part of the subdivision, they had a development permit, they had a wildfire covenant registered on title, so they know that they must build pursuant to the Section 219. And the form and character, the GHG reduction DPA, the application is generally consistent with the various development permit guidelines in terms of meeting those guidelines. There's a future road that would be located, that would go perpendicular to Elk Road. They've called it Lindsay Lane. It hasn't received, the name hasn't been approved by the town at this point. But one of the requirements of the development permit is that statutory right-of-way be registered over that portion that fronts on the subject property, and also that bonding be secured in order to ensure that the cost to prepare, install curb, gutter, sidewalk, et cetera, be completed at such a time if the developer themselves aren't able to complete it in the future. So that's one of the recommendations in the report. Also, there's some mitigations that they need to provide as part of because of the proximity to the stream.
Thank you for that. Do I need to read the whole recommendation? I think I do, unfortunately. But it has been published, so maybe I will not do that. You have 3 options as provided in the staff report. Approve the development permit, deny the development permit, or request the applicant to submit additional information. What is your pleasure, council?
Make motion to approve,
Move the recommendation as presented in the staff report.
yes, the development permit as recommended.
That is moved by Councillor Vomaka and seconded by Councillor Austin. Any further discussion on this one?
Are you reading it?
No. It's been published, and that's a long one, and I stumble once in a while. So I'm going to call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. And I think our planner explained everything quite explicitly, that I don't need to read the recommendation. So we will move to the second one. Ms. Reynolds, if you wish.
Okay, thank you. This is another development permit on 62 Gordon Road, and we do have the applicant, Mr. Eastman, here, if you have any questions for him. So this is an application, again, because of the proximity of the residents to the Cowichan River. It's in the watercourse streamside development permit area, and also the hazard development permit area due to flood. So the property it has an existing residence that was built more than 40 years, and on the property there's an existing retaining wall that is in disrepair and starting to crumble and slough. And so the property owners, they've applied to the Ministry of Environment, which is one of the important pieces for a project like this. They need to get approval for what's called works in and about a stream pursuant to the Water Sustainability Act. And they have obtained that permission, and the province has granted them a 2-year period in which it must be completed. And in the fisheries window, it's a certain period between August 1st and September 15th. And it's within that period that the work must be done, because there's the lesser impact to fish and fish habitat. And so they've received that approval, and by way of that approval, the work must be completed by September 15th of this year for that approval. So they've provided detailed documentation, an environmental assessment, and the approval letter, geotechnical assessment of the proposed and design of the proposed retaining wall. There are a couple of sort of structures that are on, well, not structures so much as there's a concrete sidewalk, there's a wooden deck, there's a gangway, and also a float, a dock that's in the water. Some of the structures, like the wooden gangway and the wooden deck, the applicants are intending to remove them. Also, the gangway and the dock, they're not permitted in the zoning bylaw, so I've informed the property owner that they're not permitted and they can't be put back in. And they've also submitted a planting plan sort of to remediate the area that's going to be disturbed. And they would be providing security associated with that to ensure the planting's done. And so that sort of summarizes the application.
Great, and as stated, the applicant is here. Should you have any questions to the applicant? The recommendation is before you. You have 3 options. Approve the development permit for this application as presented. Approve the development permit with additional requirements, or deny the development permit for this application. As this has been published as well, I will not read it verbatim, but the contract planner does recommend approving it. Moved by Councillor Sandhu, seconded by Councillor Vomaka with a question.
You just know by my look, don't you? So a question though, does the retaining wall have to be replaced before construction of anything on the property?
My understanding is that they're not intending to do any construction at this point in time on the property. So it's really about removing a failing retaining wall and replacing it to shore up the bank.
Before the development?
Well, there's an existing house there now.
Or any future development on the property?
Yeah, well,
The
it would have
retaining
to
wall
be
is
done.
first?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further? Call the question on that. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries unanimously. And one more, I believe.
Okay, so the next subject is a little different. If you recall back on the July 8th special council meeting, we discussed the letter of support request that was coming from Wiser Projects for the Elders Housing Project. And one of the recommendations or directions from council was to put together a development cost charge support, sort of terms of reference. And so this report provides that background, as well as some recommended terms of reference for such a program. So, so for the history, just a bit of history, the town entered into a contribution agreement with CMHC back in January of 2024. 3 initiatives have already been completed pursuant to the contribution agreement. And one of the initiatives included establishing a program to provide development cost charge support for affordable multi-unit rental projects using the Housing Accelerator funds. And so that's what this report deals with. So the full total amount of the HAF funds that are granted to the town, provided the town completes all the initiatives and meets the required housing targets, is in the report. It's $885,750. Now, we've thus far received 2 years of funding, so $442,875, and only about $4,500 have been spent. So, we continue to meet with CMHC and discuss the initiatives and how we're moving along. So in this instance, with the potentially using the HAF funds for DCC support for projects. So for a multi-unit project such as the Elders Housing project, each unit would be responsible for $9,473.56. So that would, so by providing support through the HAF program would, be a considerable benefit to applicants, both financially as well as showing to the province, because typically, these types of projects are having to go to BC Housing for funding, and so it shows that the town is in support of the project in a financial way, even if it is just a flow-through of funds. So there are some proposed terms of reference that are presented in the report. So to allow consideration for the Elders Housing project, and as well as any future projects that might want to take advantage of this. So, so a project, one of the requirements as proposed in these terms of reference, one of the project would have to be proposed or being developed by a nonprofit organization with a mandate to develop and manage affordable housing projects in the town. There could be consideration for market housing projects, but that would be required to have a registered housing agreement that would be approved by council, and the housing agreement would identify that below market rent would have to be charged for the units. The reduced rent would have to be valid for a period of 30 or more years. There'd be an annual reporting requirement that would be necessary to ensure commitment, that commitment to affordable rentals is maintained. And there would also be a penalty clause should the developer propose to discontinue that, and that the developer would then have to repay the DCCs plus any interest. Another consideration is because the CMHC HAF agreement is, there is a sunset clause on it, the building permits, they'd have to be issued and construction started no later than December 31 of 2026. And of course, the rents must be affordable. And by example here, below market rents or subsidized rental units, and a suggestion is below market rents could be established based on 30% of household median income for the size of household. And then, of course, support would be dependent upon the availability of the HAF funds. So those are the proposed terms of reference, and I think, council may have some thoughts about additional terms that should be considered as part of this. And what I didn't include in here as part of the recommendation, I note that from the July 8th meeting, council did agree for the letter to provide a letter of support, but there is the sort of the outstanding request for that project for the DCC support. So that forms part of the consideration of council as part of this report. And for that report, the amount of DCC support would be approximately $285,000. And I note that they were also seeking support for off-site service costs, and in the realm of $200,000, and also requesting out of HAF. But that this right now is really dealing with the DCC support broadly and then specifically to the Wiser or to the Elder Project.
Thank you very much. Questions or comments? I will start. I think without establishing the proposed recommendations, that it would be almost impossible to afford any of these funds through to a society for that, just us being the follow-through. So as terms of reference, I think this is an excellent start. I thank you for the report. I'm wondering if other entities such as Habitat for Humanity, they had approached us in the past about the possibility of a project within the community, whether they would fit within these terms of reference as a nonprofit. That would be my first question.
So as prepared and as as part of the CMHC contribution agreement, the DCC support was identified as for rental housing, and Habitat's model is for home ownership. So there's that different model there, or that there's that.
Just for clarification, they have morphed into a rental program. They are building a unit in Nanaimo of rental units. So they are looking at the portion of not only ownership, but rental accommodations within, so they would fit within that as stated in the
Yeah, it sounds,
reference.
and yeah, it sounds to me like it would be consistent with sort of the draft terms of reference.
Perfect. And would this reside also within a housing authority? Would they be afforded any of these funds if it was a housing authority that came forward?
I would think so, yeah.
And the reason I'm asking is the Couch and Housing Association gets contributions from all areas within the region towards affordable housing and are currently in the process of building. So I'm just wondering, not only with our HFAC, but other communities throughout the area have been afforded these funds as well, whether they could be accommodated in a housing authority, but I appreciate that. There is a recommendation there. I will turn to council for any further discussion. So the recommendation, the consulting planner recommends endorsing the proposed terms of reference. That's moved by Councillor Sandhu, seconded by Councillor Vomaka. Any further discussion on that? All in favor? Opposed, if any? And you did mention an amount for their request. Did you need a resolution to that effect tonight, or can we leave that with staff to work with the organization and then come back with a recommendation to council? What is your pleasure?
It would be ideal tonight because I know they're trying to make the July 31st deadline to submit their application to BC Housing. And so it would be, I know they would appreciate being able to inform BC Housing of this support with that submittal.
Councillor Austin,
I should probably recuse myself for that.
if we are going to consider that, I would offer you the opportunity to declare your conflict and state why.
Are you going to do it?
State why.
Pardon?
State why you're declaring.
Statewide.
Oh, statewide. I'm losing it because I'm on the committee and I shouldn't. The first part is for other groups as well, obviously.
Terms
This
of
part
reference.
would be just for the elder care.
Appreciate that. Councillor Austin is removing herself from the discussion as she is a director on Couch and Lake Elder Care Society. And as she's moving out of the room, I will pause. And with that, I will turn back to you, Ms. Reynolds, just for clarification on the amount that was being sought by this society on the DCC.
I need a calculator. Or
Who's got a phone? Just want to make sure we have the proper amount
Sure.
in the recommendation.
'Cause it's- okay. Sorry.
No, that's fine. There was a number mentioned, but I want to make sure it was the
yeah,
right one.
Yeah. Because I don't do math well. Yeah, 284,206 and 80 cents. $284,206.80.
And for how many units would that be?
30.
30 units.
Yeah.
So there's the amount,
At 100%.
and that would be 100% of the DCCs for that build. Anyone with questions on that? No, we're not discussing the offsite. I don't think that's appropriate at this time. I need a motion to the effect, if you're willing to support this, Councillor Sandu approves affording $284,206.80 to Cowichan Lake Elder Care Society for the DCC portion of the project. Seconded by?
Do we have a choice?
Seconded by Councillor Wamaka with a question.
With, not a, I guess it's a question. So, but we're holding those funds only till December of 2026.
That's right. I mean, if they, because the program ends, and they would need to get their building permit they would need to obtain their building permit before then, yeah.
And so a follow-up question. So if it goes into, say, 2027, do we reevaluate that amount?
My understanding, and Ronnie, maybe as far as the program goes, I'm not sure that if the fund, whether the funds have to be refunded at that time.
That was my
Or if
next
it's just
question.
they have to be refunded if we don't achieve the targets. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear the answer.
I think the funds have to be refunded if not spent by then, but I'd have to double check, and I can't remember if there's an extension clause in the contract or not. I'd have to look at it again.
Okay, thank you.
And with that, I think this is another option for us to meet those targets, given that we have provided 2 lots to this project in the past and supported it throughout its process. At every point of application, there is something missing in the application, whether it's COVID to look at those who were marginally housed, where BC Housing Funds were implemented to take care of those concerns at the time. This, I believe, will be their 3rd application to BC Housing, and maybe it's 3rd time lucky. I myself sat on the board for quite some time. I thought as the project moved forward to almost build stage that I should remove myself because there would be financial considerations coming forward. So with that, the motion has been moved and seconded to afford that amount, and I'll read it again. $284,206.80 from the CMHC Housing Accelerator Fund to the Cowichan Lake Elder Care Society for the DCC portion of the project. So this is the first time the phone has rang, and it's not question period. For anyone watching, that was a wrong number, and it was not a solicitation. We're not being afforded CRA to come take us to jail, so that's a majority of my calls lately. With that, I'm going to call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Those remaining are all in favor. If we can have Councillor Austin return, please. And in the interim, if we could just ask that staff work with the Cowichan Lake Elder Care Society on their proposal for off-site relief or services, what their questions were on that. I think it's important that we know what their concerns on those financial impacts are. I don't think that they could be afforded within what's remaining, given what it would take to service that off-site services. But if you could just reach out, staff, and see what, yeah, during the delegation, there wasn't very much information provided on that topic. And I think if we're going to make an informed decision, that we could have that afforded to us in the future.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Moving on, we have Doug Knott, the fire chief from the Lake Cowichan Fire Department. And this is regarding the Nickelback plan for Lake Town Ranch and Festival Safety Plan. Welcome, Doug. How are you? Good. We'll get you to utilize a microphone because we're streaming and we need people to hear your input. Thanks for joining us tonight, Doug. I appreciate that. So we have all read the report, and we're just hoping that you can give us a little bit of background as to how we got to this conclusion.
Certainly. When Nickelback was contracted, the ownership talked to me about what it would take to find out how to do these. We've looked at this years ago. It wasn't the right situation. So I had an opportunity to speak to Larry Thomas and Jason Carney. They're chief and deputy chief of Surrey. They do this a lot in Surrey. They've done it at Cloverdale. They do it in parks, operating fireworks. I give them the contract that was the Nickelback contract from this company, and they read it over and advised me to get involved with the fire commissioner's office. So Brad McDonald, he's our local advisor. We met up there, met, seen what they really wanted. I pulled the contract on our services to the CVRD, as at a CVRD area, and we are a service provider there. So it's not our decision. It's a decision of the regional district, which is Glenn Cooper is the head of that. So in looking that over with him and what it would take, it would be take him to be comfortable, and also we would need a safety plan if we were to do it, what we would do. And our option was for fee for service. We would supply our second line engine on site for 4 hours with a crew of 6 to be supplied by us and the CVRD local departments. We don't feel we would staff at all. It's a big weekend, and that would be our safety plan. Glenn Cooper has read that over. He feels comfortable with that, to do that. We also took this contract. This is the company that's supplying the fireworks, and we give it to the CVRD to read it. CVRD bylaw department come back. It's not fireworks, and it's a broad range when you're talking pyrotechnics or displays. So what it is some small flame effects run off 20-pound propane tanks, run by these guys. There's 6 guys with extinguishers running these things, 8 tanks. And then there's some globes at the front that spray some stuff. It's not technically fireworks. So there's nothing shooting into the sky. It's right all sitting on stage. The backstage is the flame effect. Front stage is some stuff there that goes off. So that's, in their view, it did not meet what is fireworks. Fireworks can be set off. Currently, right now, in Vancouver, the festival is going on there, right? Fireworks can be given permission by local authority, which is regional. But they're on-site staff of Lake Town Ranch. They're more of a patrol. They're not legally allowed to deal with a fire. We have to, as a service provider and the HJ authority in the area, on contract with the regional. So we put together a plan, and it's in front of Lake Town Ranch right now. We assume it's going to go ahead. things could change. I think Glenn has the right to cancel at any time. But it doesn't require an area wet down like Surrey will talk about it when they do it in the parks with big fireworks. They'll wet down for 3 days. This is all on stage. The stage is non-burnable. It's steel, and there's cement on the bottom stuff. So we don't see anything there. We will be on backstage with 6 people. Once be prepared a few hours ahead, and then we'll engage with operations if we needed, if there's something gets out of hand. These guys have literally done hundreds of thousands of they're called strictfx.com. They're a Nashville festival group that puts on these displays. So that's how we got into that request from him, and it's, like I said, it is a fee for service.
Does that conclude? I'm sure there will be some questions.
Sure.
So I will turn to my fellow councilors first. Councilor Sandhu.
Thank you. When I saw this Friday, I have had concerns. I still have concerns, but not as much since Doug has explained everything. But I also looked at how dry it is out there, and that worries me no matter what. There's still grass there. There's still this. If something did happen on the stage, something malfunction or something, there's obviously a plan in place to get all those people out of there quickly, whatever type of thing, right? Like, it's just a worry I have of just the unknown. So I just have to put it on record that I don't support this, but I don't have a voice, so.
We have a meeting every year with the police that are in charge of all that. We're involved with it in the plan, so it's not just fire that they're thinking about for evacuation. There's a lot of other things involved. So there's a plan. They would run all that. We're just a backup for the to make the CVRD comfortable to make a decision on this. That we could put the safety plan together. Pretty common at concerts that there is something like this done with a backup for services.
Anyone else? So just to clarify, although they're not within the municipality, we provide fire services to electoral area I through an agreement with the regional district. Is that correct?
That's right.
And with that, Lake Town Ranch resides within that service protection area.
Correct.
The final decision is with the regional district because it resides within the regional district.
That's correct.
So although we don't have authority and we provide the service, we have no say whether it goes forward or not. I'm not sure if anyone has attended any events within Lake Town Ranch, but there is no grass or flammables within the immediate vicinity of the stage or backstage. It's all gravel. The closest treat area would be approximately 75 meters to the northwest, a small strip along Mead Creek Road. And with the pyrotechnic expertise of this group, although I do have some concerns, we don't have a decision-making process here. But as long as we have a plan, I know that you have worked hard, not only this year, but years in the past on working with the group, whether it be EMS, fire protection, and the police on activities within Lake Town Ranch. And fortunately, there has been no significant incidents to this date. I hope this is the same case in this event, and wait for the final outcome from the regional district on the approval or disapproval of this. Thank you very much for that. Anything else?
Nope, that would be their call.
Awesome.
We've
No,
got a plan in place.
that's good. If you could just inform us when that final decision comes forward by email through Mr. Thomas, that would certainly help us. Councilor Vamaka? Mr. Thomas, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. From a town's perspective, when there are large events in such close proximity, there will naturally be a spillover in the community. I think in future years, I'd recommend that council consider some budget considerations for staffing to support these special events, because things like parking, 2-hour parking issue is certainly going to be exacerbated. Other bylaw infractions are on our radar. For example, temporary accommodations. Today, one surfaced with a potential improper camping setup as an example in the community that we're looking at right now. So there is going to be additional pressures on the town that I think some investments might be required, but that investment will certainly be returned to the community in other ways.
Thank you for that. And yourself and myself will be walking around on the August long weekend to see the influx of thousands of people into our community, and we can witness that firsthand, whether it's refuse services that may need significant increase during those festivals, etc. I look forward to those discussions coming forward in the future, and perhaps at next year's planning event, we could afford Mr. Thomas to come along as well and just get an idea of what process goes in on that planning of those festivals.
Yes, I believe
Thank you for that, Doug.
One of your council members was there this year,
Councillor
so
Frisbee was our representative.
certainly we can put that request in for more. It's usually help. Right?
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. I don't see any bylaws. No new business. And I did afford an opportunity for public relations, should there be anyone who wishes to share something. Councillor Austin?
I just wanted to say that our July 1st services went quite well. We figure about 600 people attended, which is pretty good for saying that there are July 1st things going on in other communities. We want to thank the Kinsmen who donated the funds that they made back to the Elder Care Society. And we just had a great day all in all. It was very hot. We had to go home and have a rest afterwards, but it was really good, and we hope to do it again next year.
Councillor Sandu?
I just want to thank Councillor Austin for the time she puts into Canada Day, because you've done this for the last number of years that I've been on council, and it's been a great event. So thank you for all your hard work.
Likewise.
One more thing, I should thank also Country Grocer and the Cowichan Lake Arts and Cultural Society, who co-sponsored it in the last 2 years, and the Arts and Cultural Group did all the entertainment, and Country Grocer never says no to anything we ask for. We pay for the odd thing, but they donate a lot of stuff as well. So they're great people in our community, and we're happy to have them.
Thank you for that. And in oversight, I did not reach out to get a leave of absence for Councillor Frisbee for tonight's meeting. It was not pre-approved, and as stated in our council procedure bylaw, it should be approved by council on a leave of absence. So could we do that now, Mr. Thomas? Thank you. So I'm looking for a motion for leave of absence for Councillor Frisbee for tonight's meeting. Moved by Councillor Omaka, seconded by Councillor Austin. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? My apologies for the oversight. I should have added that at the front, but better late than never. And with that, we'll go to question period. For those in the building, if you do have a question, if you could approach the podium, push the button, state your question and topic, and we will try to answer you. If we cannot get the answer tonight, we will afford you an answer very quickly. Nothing? Sir? Appreciate it. For those watching, both of you, or if you do see this on YouTube in the future and you do have questions, please reach out to our staff and they will answer them at the best of their ability. With that, I need a motion to go in camera, and Mr. Thomas, would you like to read out the reasons why, or shall I? I shall do that. Under Section 92 of the Community Charter, it requires that before a meeting or part of a meeting is closed to the public, that council must state by resolution that the meeting is to be closed. And B, the basis on which the meeting is to be closed falls under the following sections of the Community Charter. Section 91C, Personnel. Section 91F, Law Enforcement. And Section 91G, Litigation or Potential Litigation Affecting the Municipality. Do I have a motion to go in camera? Moved by Councillor Bomaka, seconded by Councillor Austin. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. We'll take a short recess. Thank you very much, staff.